Hello everybody, this is Mrs. Baxter, and this morning I want to go over the very first question of your data analysis. Okay, so what's nice about this is if you need to pause the video in order to do something, please do so. Okay, if you need to go back and listen to directions and find out what to do, also go back and listen to the directions. Now, the example I'm going to give you here is not, I repeat, not what you are going to be doing for your particular project, okay? Because you have different data, and I'm just making it up here, but giving you an example so that you know exactly what to do, okay? So do not copy any of this down. Just listen to my directions. If you need to write a note for yourself on your project packet, go ahead and write a note. But this is definitely not what you are going to do. You are going to need to look at your own data and make a determination and a decision on how you're going to do several things, okay? But I want to walk you through this just so that you have an idea of what you need to be doing for this project. Okay, so the very first thing you should do is you should have your data collection sheet that we worked on last week, and you have the tally marks. You should have everything totaled up. And I want you to open to question number 1. Now, I know this says question number 2, but this is really question number 1. Here, your project should have been fixed, and it should say question number 1, okay? Now, don't forget your labels. That is going to be very important. You'll notice on the rubric that labeling is important. Okay, so if you don't have your data open to question number 1 with 0 to 30 options or 1 to 30 options, please open it right now. If you need to pause the video, pause the video. Okay, you should have that open and this page open in your data packets. You have 2 packets open right now, okay? And you're going to look at the data set, all your tallies, and see what is your range. Does it go from 1 to 20? Does it go 1 to 30? If it only goes to, say, 20, you're not going to want to go all the way to 30. You can if you want to, okay? So let's do an example of where we would go from 1 to 30. So on the left-hand side of this table right here, you're going to figure out what your data options are. So you're going to pick intervals of data where you can group all of your tally marks together, okay? So for example, again, this is an example. You may not necessarily do this. If you would like me to check your intervals, please check with me before you start working on the frequency piece of it, okay? All right, so what you are going to do is say we're going from 1 to 30, all right? I want to break this up into several chunks. So I could do something as simple as 1 to 5, 6 to 10, 11 to 15, 16 to 20, 21 to 25, and 26 to 30, okay? If you go this route, the next thing that you will do is where you're going to look at your data sheet now, and you're going to say, okay, now this is just my example, okay? So on your data sheet, pretend this is your data sheet right here, okay? Just pretend. I'm just gonna show you. So you had, hold on. You had, say, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and so on, okay? And you had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh, I had 6 here. I had 2 here. I'm just going to make up data. You guys, this is not your data. Nothing. 1. And then I had 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. All right. When you're combining your data, look at your options right here. The very first category is 1 to 5. You're now going to look at this 1 to 5 section and tell us how many total are in this section. So I would add up 6 plus 2 plus 3 plus 1, which would give us 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So I have 12 in there. You're going to write, I have 12 tallies between 1 and 5. 12 people responded between 1 and 5. Then you're going to go look at your 6 to 10 option, okay? And then you're going to tally all those up and put that number here, okay? That is step 1. Make sure you go through and tally all of those up, all right? Now, I'm going to put in some pretend data here. Once you've finished your frequency table, say there's 0, okay, 2 and 1. All right, now you're gonna notice there's this funky line here. You might need to ignore that, and that's okay, all right? Make up your own data intervals, all right? So it's not gonna be perfect, but say you're gonna go, this is gonna be 0. 0 to 5 is here. 6 to 11 is here. If you need a ruler, 12 to 15. Now notice I'm ignoring this guy. Ignore, all right? This next interval is 16 to 20, and then I have 21 to 20, to 25. You'll have a lot more room on yours. Let's see. And then I have here 26 to 30. Now, if you can make it span the whole way across nice and neatly, unlike how I did it, please do so. Use a ruler if you need to and give yourself 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 spaces, okay? If you have this little bit of leftover, I'm okay. I'm not gonna mark you down for that, okay? Then what you're gonna do is you're gonna look at your totals, okay? Look how much you have here. My highest is 12, my lowest is 0. So you're going to figure out how high are you gonna go on your data here. Okay, so here I've got up to 12, so I'm gonna go by twos. 0, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. Okay, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. Try to use this space up if you can, all right? I don't want it so teeny tiny here that 12 doesn't take up your whole thing. You want to be able to see a difference as you go across. Now, keep in mind, mine isn't going to be as neat as yours. Use a ruler, please, all right? I just want to show you for an example. So let's look at 1 to 5. Actually, I made a mistake here. This should be 1 to 5, okay? So on this first group, my histogram should look something like this. And if you want to make it look pretty with nice colored pencils, do not use marker, please, because it'll bleed through the other end. You can use crayon, but markers, you can go ahead and do that. And then I'm gonna look at the interval 6 to 10, and I'm gonna make sure I have 10. So I'm gonna go over here and down. And I'm gonna keep doing this so that I can see all of my histograms. Now, a couple things to note here are the boxes are touching each other, okay? As soon as you start doing separate squares like this, you are now talking about bar graph, not a histogram. Your histogram should connect. So my next one here should, let's do 5. We're gonna go like this. It should come over here. Okay, so here's my 5. This was my 10. I have 0 for 16 to 20, so I am not gonna put anything in this spot right here. Let's see, I have 2 for my other one here. So you're gonna draw a line up, 2 like this. All right. And my last one only has 1. Oops. My last one only has 1. All right? So this is what your histogram should look like, all right? Of course, your data is going to be different, so your bars are going to be at different heights and so on. Once you get to this part, you're going to go down to question A. What does the data tell you? What do you notice? Okay, so in here I'm saying, oh, well, the data tells me that most of my people are less than 15, I don't know, 15 days a month they work out. That was my question, okay? Make sure that when you are in here, you are answering your question, okay? So if you want to know, like, how many days a month did you work out, you say, well, most of my respondents worked out less than 15 days a month. Or you could say, not many people worked out more than 15 days a month, or washed their hair more than 15 times a month, or went grocery shopping more than 15 times a month, okay? It's asking you, what do you notice? So tell me what you notice here. In question B, I want you to find the mean and the median, all right? How do we find our mean and median? If you said we need to order our data first, you would be correct. Or when you get to this part, I can show you how to do it without having to rewrite all of your numbers, okay? You are basically going to look at your data sheet and you're going to start counting from the front to the back until you meet in the middle, all right? That would help you with your median. With your mean, you're going to be adding up all of your numbers. So if you had 5 respondents answering with number 1, you're going to add those up. I have 5. If I have 2 respondents answering with 2, that's essentially 2 times 2, which is 4, and you're going to add that to 5. So I know this sounds confusing. So when you get to B, give it a try and come see me. We'll do the first one together, okay? Then the last question here is, would the mean or median be a better measure of central tendency for your data? And this is where I want you to evaluate, look at the mean and median, and compare those two, okay? Compare whether the mean or the median would be a better measure of where the center of your data truly is. So let's look at this. So for example, let's say that my mean, my average, I'll write it in red here. Let's say my average works out to be, my mean is, it's got to be somewhere in here, 7.28. Remember, you can get a decimal, all right? But my median, so my middle number, is actually, works out to be, let's say my median is actually 4, okay? This is kind of a big difference, 4 and 7.28. Tell me what your mean is, 7.28. What's your median? 4. What tells me what's in the middle better? Well, you can look at your histogram, okay? Look at the drawing that you gave and say, I think my mean is a better measure of central tendency because it also incorporates all this data way up here, okay? You can give me whatever answer makes sense as long as you can justify it. If you want to run it by me and talk through it with me before you move on, I would be happy to help you, okay? All right, that hopefully gets you a good start on what I'm looking for with this first question. Again, the first couple questions are going to take you a little bit longer, and once you get into further along into the project, you're going to start doing a little bit of different things. It should be a little bit easier to answer, okay? All right, good luck. You guys have enough information to start. If you need to rewatch this, go back and rewatch the parts you need to watch. Okay, I'll see you guys later. Bye.